shape your solution. Now, what does that mean? Well, once you find the solution, you've got to dig a little bit more deeply into the details. You'll understand better how the policy works then, and then you can tailor the evidence-based solution to your own city. Because this involves the kind of friction when you're bumping up against existing activities within the city so that it'll fit with what's happening in your city right then and there. You'll be received much more warmly when you're not coming in saying, dump everything you're doing, I got the solution, back off. You're not going to get anywhere that way. But if you work with the officials, a lot of times they'll be very grateful that somebody's coming in, not to blame them, but just to work with them. Make sure your solution is cost effective. This also is one of the things that is in the Civic Pledge. You're going to make solutions that are evidence-based and cost-effective. You go nowhere today without a solution that's not cost-effective. You can come in with the best solution that has the best evidence of success, make an excellent presentation without blame to the public officials, and they'll say, that's great, but where are you going to get the money for that? And so you're usually stuck right then and there. So the first thing is understand how much it costs. If you can find a solution that doesn't cost anything or even will save money, you're really going to have a better chance at success. But if it does cost some money, you've got to find a way to make it cost as little as possible, and then you've got to find a place within the existing budget where you can get some savings, because there's not a lot of new money out there. So you have to find that kind of cost effectiveness to make it work. Doing the doable. All right? That's a phrase that we came up with. It simply means that if you really want to get success going, it's good to get traction, to get a win early on, to find a way that you'll get respect from the public officials and they'll listen to you more with the next solution that you come in. So you don't need to solve all the problems of the world with your first effort. Do the doable. Now, some of the things that you need to consider when you're doing the doable is if, for example, you have skepticism on the part of the public officials when you present your solution to them. Even though you got evidence behind it, even though you found out a way to make it cost effective, they're still a little skeptical. One of the solutions for that is a pilot. So a pilot program, just taking a little piece of your solution, is often very helpful. It's not just helpful in overcoming their skepticism, it's also sometimes helpful in reducing costs. We don't have enough money to get started, but we might have enough money for a pilot. Might even find some crowdfunding or a grant or something that will get you off the ground. One of the other things before we go off that step that I'd mentioned to you is phasing. All right? We talked about pilots, just doing a small piece, sometimes phasing. If we say we have drug dealing in the parks, and they say, well, you know, we don't have the money to put more police in all the parks. And they say, well, let's prioritize it. Wherever the drug dealing is the greatest, let's just do one park a year, and we'll figure a way to build into it. And that kind of phasing, again, eases the economic stress and shows people you're willing to work with them. We're going to get expert support. And yes, you are. The Law and Policy Task Force is a really wonderful group of people. I mean, they're people that spend a lot of hours at work, but then volunteer their time to work with trustees. And they're people who, they're two former chief counsels to governors. They're academic experts in policy. There's the former chair of the state Republican Party and the former chair of the state Democratic Party. They're people with lots of experience in the political and governmental arena who've been successful in getting things done and who are asking nothing of us, just willing to work with us. But they want to make sure we've done our work first. So the first step is not identify an issue, call an expert and say, hey, solve the problem for me. So getting together with the experts, even when you think you have it all, is a very good idea. There's one other use of these experts, and that's called putting your solution into ready-to-adopt form. All right? How does this avoid blame and problem solving? When you come forward to a mayor and council or a school board and you say, I have an idea, you know what you're going to get? You're going to get a debate over that idea. Even if they're in good faith, even if they like you and respect you, we're going to start debating the idea. But once your solution has been researched the way that we've talked about in the prior steps, and you then go to the Law and Policy Task Force, they turn the solution into either an ordinance or a resolution or an executive order, a legal form that can be voted upon. So now, when you go before the mayor and council with your solution, you're not calling for a debate over an idea, you're calling for a vote on an ordinance. That really calls the question. Very powerful, and yet it's not aggressive, it's just laying it out and showing how it would work. So they take it a lot more seriously. You know, the majority of the council people, they're just waiting for the mayor or the administrator or maybe the council president to present things to them the same way you are. So when they get a proposed ordinance, they know it's time to pay attention because the vote's coming up. So when you come to them with a ready-to-adopt solution, and the lawyers on the Law and Policy Task Force will turn your solution into a legal form that's ready for the vote. So that's an important step.